Hey guys, I'm Andrew, also known as Iron Android, and I love to talk about movies and TV shows way too much. With that being said, in today's video, I'm going to be ranking Phase 5 of the MCU movies from the worst to the best, and I would love to hear your guys' rankings down in the comments below. In sixth place, I have Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. This is probably the Marvel movie that is the most irrelevant Marvel movie in the MCU, because Jonathan Majors was supposed to be the big bad Kane in the multiverse saga, but he got fired before he can even really get a chance to shine and everything. And you've been going nowhere with the multiverse saga and everything, so they are drifting away from Kane and going to Doctor Doom. The movie is all over the place. Jonathan Majors is the only really good thing about the movie, also Paul Rudd. And I will say I wasn't expecting them to bring back Darren Cross back as MODOK. The comedy isn't really the same in the first two movies just because you don't have Lewis and Scott other friends helping out in the movie. And that's why I really rate it a 2 out of 10. In fifth place, I have The Marvels. The standout to this movie is the three actresses' chemistry and Miss Marvel being a super lovable big fan. Everything in this movie was just a mess, and I felt like some parts were just dragging on a little too long. And the dance scene where Brie Larson is like singing was not at all interesting and just didn't need to be in the movie. The best thing in this movie is the flirting scene when they're trying to eat the crewmates to abandon the ship. And the post-credit scene teases the X-Men, but it doesn't really go anywhere. The villain is the worst version of Ronan, the Accuser, but all in all, I really do rate this movie just a 4 out of 10. In fourth place, I got Captain America: Brave New World. This movie was well grounded and it had great character development, and this movie sold me on Anthony Mackie being the new Captain America. Also, I really enjoyed Danny Ramos as the new Falcon. He was super funny and super awesome and a well sidekick to Captain America's Sam Wilson. Also, I think about this movie a lot, and the best part about this movie is the final battle between Red Hulk and Sam Wilson. And that was just super cool because it's the first time we saw Red Hulk in the movie, and it just feels like it's good to have a Hulk back in action and not being the smart Hulk that we saw from Endgame. But I will say this movie feels like a sequel to The Incredible Hulk from 2008 more than anything. But the post-credit scene was super fantastic and made me look forward for the future of the MCU, which is why I rated a solid 5 out of 10. In third place, I have Thunderbolts. This is a surprisingly emotional, raw, and character-driven entry in the MCU. But what makes this movie shine really well is how it redeems and develops the other lesser-seen characters in Phase 4, just like John Walker, Ghost, and Taskmaster and Bob. But the screen time and arcs are very well written for each of these characters, and there's not a lot of humor in this movie, but when there is, it's phenomenal, all because of Red Guardian. But Taskmaster, if you know, you know. The post-credit scene got me so excited for the future of the MCU, and it's the longest post-credit scene in any MCU movie. But all in all, I rate this movie a 7 out of 10. In my runner-up spot, I got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This movie takes us deeper into the hearts of the Guardians universe, and one of the most compelling storylines in the Guardians movies is Rocket's past. We dive into his emotional backstory, witnessing and unraveling his pain and suffering that he has been through that shaped him into the complex character we know and love today. Rocket's journey is a roller coaster of emotions, and the fact that Groot said, "I love you guys," but it wasn't him speaking, it was him saying, "I am Groot," but we have been with him for so long, and we now understand his language, is super sweet, and it really kind of teared me up in the end. And the High Evolutionary is one of the only villains in the MCU that I actually want to like get rid of myself. And my favorite scene in this movie is Drax. You weren't born to be a destroyer. You were born to be a dad. But other than that, I thought it had a satisfying ending to the Guardian story, which is why I rated a 8.5 out of 10. In first place, I got Deadpool and Wolverine. To me, this is the best MCU project since Endgame. The characters were fun, the plot was fantastic, and the cameos were so peak. I was not expecting them to bring back Chris Evans as the Human Torch, Elektra, and X-23. But the two cameos that blew me away in this movie was Wesley Snipes' Blade and Channing Tatum's as Gambit. The best action scene in this movie was when Deadpool and Wolverine fights all the Deadpool variants. And my favorite fourth wall break in this movie is when Nice Pool gently goes and it's like, I can gently tap the fourth wall too, the proposal, and just looks at the camera and does that the entire time. The only thing that I really have an issue with this movie is the villain isn't really that memorable. But other than that, I give this movie a 9.5 out of 10. But without being said, guys, I'm Andrew, also known as Iron Android. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and put on notifications so you don't miss a single upload. Also, follow my gaming channel and TikTok. Link will be in the description for both of those things. Alright, I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.